You might never date again after hearing these dating nightmares. First story, my boyfriend just got married, not to me. Am I an idiot for staying in this relationship? I don't know if you want the answer to this. The story first came November 3rd, 2014. Let's try to be polite. Let's hear them out. We are 25 female, 25 male, been together for 8 months. My boyfriend is in the military and absolutely hates his job, and especially having to live on base with 18-year-old idiots in a place where his boss can come find him at any hour of the day or night to tell him something. Having had my fair share of bad living situations, I completely understand how that one facet of your life can make such a big difference, and I know how much he wants out. The problem is he isn't a high enough rank to live off base unless he's married. He has brought up the idea a few times before, and I always told him it upset me to think of him marrying someone else, even just on paper. Last week, he started pursuing it more intently with a coworker of mine who is Canadian and hoping to gain citizenship. We had a long talk and I told him all of my concerns, and he told me that he was thinking about it as solely a business deal and that it wouldn't change anything between us. I still told him I really didn't want him to do it. Why can't you guys get married? If he's gonna marry anyone, why can't he marry you? It might be too early to be asking these questions. Let's keep reading. The next day, he picks me up at work and tells me he's meeting the girl to go get married that evening. I flip out. He drops me off and it takes me a 3-hour walk to talk myself into staying in the relationship. But he showed little to no remorse about it when we talked later on. Just gave a trite apology when I asked for one and hasn't been doing anything to try to make it up to me or make me feel loved and respected. I am absolutely in love with him and I do want to be with him. I feel like we mesh so well and we're perfect for each other. He assured me that he loves me and doesn't want our relationship to be temporary, etc. He won't be living with her. He'll get his own apartment and she'll just have her name on the lease, and that will be our official residence. They will have a joint checking account just for paying rent and bills, etc. I'm already like, come on. That's a lot of faith in like a coworker. How well does he know this person? Honestly, I see this working out very badly, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to get away with it. All of his coworkers and bosses know me or about me, so suddenly getting married to someone else is going to be a giant red flag. Not to mention they're trying to screw with immigration laws, which is just a ridiculously stupid idea, since any casual look into either of them will make it obvious that they are not in a relationship. Haven't had communication with each other before a week ago. Oh my God. Oh, this is so silly.
Enough of the silliness.
And they are doing this as a scam. But there's no reasoning with him about it. Am I being stupid for staying in this relationship just because I am in love? Or is that enough to make it worth staying and trying to work things out? Girl, I don't know what you think there is to work out though. You can't publicly date this person now. It's not like you can like go on and be in a relationship and post on social media and tell your friends and family and like have this very public relationship with this person. I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than yes, you're being stupid. But we have an update. So let's see how it unfolds. Maybe I'll eat my own words and I'll owe them an apology. The update came November 17th, 2 weeks later. My ex-boyfriend did something so incredibly, unbelievably hurtful, thoughtless, and disrespectful, and then tried to make me feel like I was being irrational for thinking that we couldn't make it work. So I had to break up with him after the 8-month relationship. His actions during this time showed me clearly that he had little to no regard for me and never truly loved me. In fact, when we were breaking up, he actually told me that it was never real. Obviously I was, and I am angry. I'm angry that I was treated that way. I'm angry that he would do that and say that. I'm angry at myself for ignoring the warning signs and staying with him as long as I did. I'm angry at her for marrying him. I'm angry with them for both going on a camping trip together with people I introduced him to. People I have to work with less than a week after we broke up. I am angry, but I'm also really sad. It hurts that I lost my best friend, the person I was closest to, the person I loved. It's painful to lose my companion, the person I spent at least 48 hours straight with every weekend. It's really hard to figure out to be alone, even though he never thought about it in these terms, even though it was never real. I miss being an us. I'm really heartbroken and I miss him. And that's the hardest thing about this, because all of my friends are rallying to my side and supporting me and calling him an a-hole and telling me how much better off I am without him, and that I shouldn't have a problem getting over such a thoughtless idiot. But I am. And I can't go to them with my sadness because they won't get it. They tell me he doesn't deserve my tears. They won't allow me to feel what I'm feeling. Well, they're just being protective friends. When they see you crying over a situation like that, they're like, he doesn't deserve you. They just hold you with value. However, I do think you have a right to be upset. Of course. You loved this person no matter what. And you thought you had a future with them. Of course, you have every right to be sad and heartbroken, even if it's not fully a surprise for anybody else. Next story. My boyfriend used the dog's savings for a computer. If that dog is no longer alive, we are gonna have problems. This story came August 18th, 2020. I know the title is a little odd, but it was the best way I could summarize what he's done. I have an 11-year-old German Shepherd. He was hit by a car in 2018. And we went through a very difficult recovery process. He had seizures, urine issues, constant fear of anything going fast near him. I could cry. Like, I couldn't throw a ball anymore. Oh my God. Listen, I will cry over a dog so much faster than a human in a movie. Come on, guys. That's not true. I cried everything. I literally cried anything and everything. But when you see like those really sad dog movies, it just hits you in such a different way. No? Ugh. Maybe it's just me. We had another puppy, but our senior was so stressed that we had to rehome her. You would have sworn that he was displaying abused behavior, but he was just scared. He moved past all of that, and I am so proud of him. The vet prescribed medication for his seizures, and so far he has been recovering well. We were discussing ways to improve his mobility. It's like a walking cane, but for dogs, and it has sensory objects on the end to prevent him from bumping into furniture. We tested it in the office, and his mood improved instantly. But at the time, I couldn't afford more treatment for him, so I opted to come back. I met David earlier this year while walking him. He has known since day one that my dog requires special treatment, and I would absolutely provide it. Everything went well, and he wasn't controlling or abusive. Everything just clicked. But it's my fault because I was too comfortable. We were talking about finances, and I told him about my debt and the money I was saving up for my dog. After paying off the debt from his previous treatments, I didn't want to reopen another card, so I started saving cash in a little fireproof chest. Well, he stole it yesterday. I went to his place and I noticed he has a new setup. I was asking him where he got the money from, and we fought, and he said, "He's half dead anyway, you need to let go." Well, literally put me on trial for after that. Guilty. Oh my gosh. It really couldn't be me. You could not put me in that situation and have me not see red. He's not even close to dying. He's a little older, but he's nowhere near dying age. We go to the veterinarian regularly, and everything checks out as well as it can be given the circumstances. No one has ever mentioned death. We've only been looking at the future and improvements. I'm so upset. What do? We're both students. I don't want to call the police and ruin his future. Screw his future. But that was for my baby to get what he needed so he can walk around my home comfortably. Listen, take the dog out of it. If I have any type of cash savings in a box, that's my money, even if it's for a vacation, a new purse, I don't care what it's for. This man stole your money. That's crazy. Absolutely not. And then to just be so insensitive about the fact that it was for the dog, disgusting. But the point is he stole your money. It's yours. It doesn't matter what you're spending it on. We have an update, and maybe I'm being selfish and I'm emotional, but I really hope you called the police. That's crazy. All right, so we have the update. It came over 6 months later. We're now at February 27th, 2021. Oh, no. My dog passed away today. Oh my gosh, my heart, my absolute heart. That's not a sentence. I think it was a seizure or an episode. I didn't know he was fine until now. He wasn't stressed and he wasn't in pain. I remembered this thread and everyone who helped me. I wanted to come back and say thank you from the both of us. The vet got the donations and I got the loan for the rest. We really tried, but he didn't want to stay anymore. I'm gonna cry. There's an active case for the theft. That's all I can say on that. He is my ex now. We don't talk anymore. I don't have my dog anymore. Well, that's just the worst 6 months of your life. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, that's so much more than just a dating story. My heart. Next story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend over a penny? Like the coin? I'm so intrigued. This story came March 3rd, 2026, so it is very recent. I, 25 female, and my boyfriend, 25 male, have been dating since high school. He knows I have my weird quirks and rituals due to my OCD, and it has been a prominent thing in our relationship. He knew this before we started dating, and it has never been an issue before. I love him so much, and I may have overreacted, but I don't know. For some context, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was around 7 years old, and I don't like where I have to be tidy or anything. For me specifically, I do things in sets of 2, and I have recurring thoughts, bad anxiety, etc. At first, I felt like my boyfriend was really supportive. He would make comments here and there and poke fun at it, like, "Did you do it twice?" or something like that. It never really bothered me up until recently. He tries to do things that he knows will upset me and make me spiral just for fun. One thing I like to do is pick up pennies for good luck. Not that I like to believe in luck, but I just always do it and I feel like I need to do it. So a few weeks ago, he was talking with my friends and they had brought up something and I guess they caught me in one of my little habits. It's one where I have to crack my knuckles a certain way. I can't do that stuff. Can you guys do that stuff?
No, don't like that.
When people sit there and like crack their neck and crack their knuckle, oh no, I hate hearing it. I can't do it. Ooh. Sometimes like I used to crack my toes, only my toes for some reason, but then I broke one of my toes and now I cannot do it. I don't know why. His friends kind of laugh and just ask me what I'm doing, and my boyfriend goes, "OCD freak." I knew he was joking, but like, why is he trying to embarrass me in front of his friends? A different time, he asked me why I had to be so embarrassing. So the other day, we were walking downtown and I picked up this penny and he noticed. When we get beside the river, he takes my penny and throws it in there. I started freaking out, and obviously my mind spiraled with thoughts that weren't true, but still scary, like, you're gonna get bad luck. I literally started to tear up and he told me that I would be fine. I asked him why he would do that and he said it wasn't a big deal. I told him that he knew before we started dating that my OCD was a huge part of who I was and that little things like this really set me off. He told me not to be so sensitive, so I brought up everything he had been doing the past few weeks and I told him if he couldn't accept this part of me, then I didn't want to be with him. I ended up getting my mom to pick me up and I haven't seen him since. It has only been 2 days. He keeps texting me and apologizing, but I don't know if I should keep him in my life or not. His weird snarky replies about my OCD and like taking my penny and throwing it. It sounds stupid, but it really made me upset. Okay, interesting. There's an edit here, so I'm gonna read the edit before we discuss. I wanted to come on here and clear some things up. No, I have not come back yet. I told him we would talk sometime this week, but that I felt firm in my decision. First of all, this post was to judge if I was the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend over this. People have taken it and questioned the integrity of my disorder, trying to tell me to get help and I shouldn't make it my whole life. It is a mental health disorder. I have been to 2 psychiatrists, 3 therapists, and so many other doctors to try and help. The knowledge you guys have is limited. This means that these little rituals are the easy end of my disorder. Something I had to live with being okay with, having OCD. No one can make me feel bad for having it. I had to learn I was not a freak. It took me aback though when someone this close to me could treat me this horribly. I would never fake OCD for karma. I just got Reddit and I don't even understand how the whole karma thing works. I simply wanted to see what should be done in my situation. To the people telling me to get help, again, I assume you are medical professionals. I have gotten plenty of help and I've learned many coping techniques. This does not mean that my OCD just vanishes. It is a part of me and it always will be. If my boyfriend did not like this part of me, then he shouldn't have gotten with me since I have been been so open about it. Another thing, when I say it's a huge part of me, it does not mean I make it a big deal to others. It is a big deal, but to myself. When I'm having episodes, I don't take it out on others and I make them deal with my problems. It's something I've learned to deal with alone. It's me, it's who I am, but I don't let it define me and my relationships. My OCD is not like an overbearing mother who comes between relationships, but sometimes it will certainly get triggered. Honestly, I don't feel qualified enough to speak on this because I don't have OCD. So the description of it and things she's describing, of course, for me, it's easy to see like, what? Like freaking out over those things? That's because I don't have OCD. So I wouldn't know how that feels to someone who does struggle with OCD. I don't know, maybe you guys have it or know someone who has it, or could relate to the struggle of that more. So chime in, let's chat about it. But I cannot relate to that feeling. I feel like you just, no matter what in life, you have to do what's best for you, girl. We have an update though, so maybe things got better. The update came 2 days later. We're now at March 5th. So this all happened 4 days ago. I tried to not answer him when he would text me, maybe little okays here and there. The gist of it is basically that I should have known he was joking. He turned it from he was sorry to I should be sorry. I asked him if he even understood my side and he said no, but maybe we can talk about it in person. I told him that we could meet, but I was pretty firm on my stance. We had dinner last night and he said he was out of line even afterwards when texting me. He told me he couldn't lose me and that he loved me. He told me he did some research on OCD and compulsions and learned that those things can be really triggering for some people. I told him, thank you for saying that, but I needed to work on myself. I've been with him for 8 years. I don't know myself without him. I told him we could still be friends, but he really hurt me and this was my opportunity to now work on myself. Later though, his mom texted me and said I was making a mistake. His mom loves me and I knew she would probably be more devastated than him. I told her that my decision was final and that he really hurt me. She basically told me that I was looking for a reason to leave him because that was ridiculous. I told her it wasn't true and I even explained all of the other circumstances. She told me to give him one more chance and I left her on red. I don't even know if I want to speak to him anymore, but I do know that I'm glad I did this for myself. Well, then I guess you didn't need the opinion of Reddit. You know your OCD better than anyone. You know what you need in your heart and your mind more than anyone. I guess maybe just writing it out helps you come to that conclusion, but it does feel right to speak on that because, yeah, of course, it's like, oh, that's so silly and ridiculous, but I don't have it. So how dare I say that, you know? We have more dating nightmares, but we're gonna drink first. It's hydration station. Cheers. Hope you're having a good day. Make sure you drink your water today. So I had a really cool audition this week. It's for a lead role in a mini series that films in Costa Rica. Callbacks would be next week at the time that I'm filming this. But anyways, I thought I'd show you a few bloopers that came out of that audition because I'm not allowed to show you the audition, obviously. So enjoy. Forget it. I f***ed that up. This was not open. Hold on. Why is the camera doing this though? Okay. Starting over. Next story. My boyfriend asked me for $1,500 to buy a Halloween costume. What the hell are you being that costs $1,500? Wild. I can't wait to find out. This story came July 25th, 2023. Me, female 22, and my boyfriend, male 26, have been together for around 4 years. I was recently asked by him if he could get a personal loan under my name so that he could buy a Halloween costume. I am feeling a bit unsure of how upset I should be or even if I should be upset about it. To explain this current situation, he currently has around $5,000 worth of debt and does not have a job and lives off payments from the government currently. When he originally asked, I got quite upset since for the last year, his financial situation has continued to get worse as I currently pay for his groceries and essentials, and without aid, doesn't have basic essentials like toilet paper or soap, let alone food, and can only meet the payments of his rent at the moment. When he asked me for the loan, it was about $1,500, and he wanted me to have an open personal loan since no financial lenders would give him any more money than he currently has on on his other loan. I don't know why I felt like it was a breaking point, but I just cried and told him he was childish for asking for money to buy something so stupid, and I haven't spoken to him for the last couple days. He asked me for the money when he already relies on me to buy his groceries, and he's in so much debt from buying video games and action figures. Okay, so sounds like he's just irresponsible. I'm struggling to figure out what to even say to him. The reason he wants the loan so much from me is for more of the same non-essential things that got him into debt in the first place. So that $5,000 of debt is from video games and action figures? Is there a reason why he can't work? A custom-made Halloween costume seems like an outrageous thing to want to purchase in his current situation, and he doesn't see it as a big deal since, in his words, quote, "It's not a lot of money for you, and I think I just need advice on what approach might work for him to understand. No matter how much I've tried to explain the strain his dependence on me to support him with basic needs has been when we don't live together, and despite me trying to suggest loan consolidation or a selected person to manage his funds on behalf could benefit him, I feel like my approach isn't working. I would appreciate advice on what steps I can take or what approach I might be able to use instead in regards to talking to him and trying to resolve this issue in our relationship currently." Honestly, I don't think he is gonna understand it. His statement alone of "that's not a lot of money for you," I don't know. I feel like he won't even relate to that because he lives in this land of going into debt for things that he sees important to him. You're paying all his bills. He had no problem asking you for this loan, even though you're paying all his bills. Like, I really don't think he'll see it from your point of view. So she added an edit the same day. To clarify things, it was for a Spider-Man costume. And no, I did not give him the money. I spoke to him and he tried explaining that it was his cousin who forced him to ask me for the money, which I didn't believe, and I ended the relationship. Oh, since a lot of your comments made me realize I have seriously low standards for my dating pool, and we have to reconsider my standards moving forward. I guess the reason I indulged this man for so long was because I felt pity for him and his situation. He lives off government disability payments due to having autism. Okay, that is some very important information. When I asked, is there a reason why he can't work? That's a reason. So he has autism, ADHD, and severe clinical depression. There's a lot of things there then. I feel like you might have, you should have added this at the beginning of the story, because without that information, it just comes across as childish, irresponsible. But those are a lot of important factors here. I think as we progressed in our relationship, I slowly became his carer after his family moved away and had no one to take him to his appointments, especially after COVID. His career quit and ended, so he didn't have someone to help him in his day-to-day tasks. I understand now that it should have never been my job to pick up, and blurring those lines made me become financially and emotionally used as he had no one else to depend on. Anyways, I have broken up with my boyfriend. I will try to listen to you guys and find someone who is more on my level of stability and self-reliance. That's tough though. That's tough. We have an update, which came 1 year later, so I'm curious what more could be added here. And it came October 15th, 2024. I have good and bad news. I ended up getting back together with my ex after breaking up after this post. Super dumb. Yes, I know. It was a really abusive relationship that had become a kind of dependence on that person to escape a lot of my home life troubles. Despite my ex being the worst scum ever, it was better than what I knew in my home life and what I thought I deserved. I struggled a lot, but was able to thrive in my personal life and career. But despite that, I clung to my ex as if it was all I thought I deserved. It only got worse as he grew to hate me, and he still depended on me. He monopolized all of my time, but when I was at work, he was talking to another woman and worked toward cheating on me with her, but was unsuccessful in that endeavor as she only wanted the attention but didn't want to have sex with, quote, such a loser. He made a choice when I asked to pick me or her, and he chose her, hoping he would finally be able to make it with this other woman who thankfully would not give him the time of day once the chase was over and he was no longer in a relationship. He thankfully broke up with me when he picked her, but didn't want to relinquish control over me and demanded to keep me as a friend. I was ordered to keep him in the loop about dates, who I was seeing, where I was going, and for how long. If I didn't tell him, oh my gosh, if I didn't tell him, he would physically harm me, and it got bad enough. Okay, well, I'm not going to go into detail there, but he put his hands on her. I decided finally to stop pitying this horrible scum and leave. I regret all the years I wasted with this scumbag trapped in his abuse and lies. I thankfully kept him at a bay and would only answer his phone calls. He had panic attacks and would call me every couple of days, crying and screaming. But after he threatened to off my family and make me watch, and then off himself so he wouldn't go to jail for it. Okay, that's nuts. I felt unable to escape. Girl, this is a lot more than a Halloween costume. Thankfully, he eventually lost interest and got upset. I wasn't being a good friend and blocked me after threatening to harm me if he ever saw me in the street. It was an insane relationship, not really encapsulated in my Reddit post because I was already being screamed at by hundreds of people for being absolutely stupid about it. After being dragged, I figured it was best I didn't actually speak about the depth of all of it. Oh man. The whole relationship felt like an unreal experience between two people with severe mental health and self-worth issues, and I became someone unrecognizable when driven into a corner like I was. At least I have a whole lot of crazy ex stories to tell, which my friends lovingly dub lore dropping, but I have had a hard start to my life from childhood till about a year ago. But please know that I am happy, safe, and doing well now. I have regular therapy sessions and I live far away from my abusive family. Well, and hopefully him, I understand he's got his issues, but you know, that can't be an excuse for the physical harm, the threats, the everything you just named. Ooh, God, I just thought we were talking about a Spider-Man costume. That took a turn. That took a real quick turn. Okay, I was not expecting something so serious. Let me know your thoughts on that one and the rest of the stories. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.